Yeah! It's Goosebumps-tober.
Welcome back, Stein heads. Today we're going to be looking at one of the more well-known Goosebumps books and episodes. As a kid, we all had that one adult that we couldn't really get a read on. A grown-up that we couldn't really put a finger on what it was about them that made you feel off. For me, it was my childhood friend Andrew's dad. A guy looked like when they de-aged Robert De Niro in The Irishman. Like, literally, he looked kind of like Robert De Niro, which in and of itself is threatening to a child. But as I grew up, the guy turned out to be a pretty chill dude. But what if he wasn't? What if that odd look he had was just concealing something far more unsettling, far more monstrous? What would I or any other kid in the 90s do in that situation? Let's start riffing and find out.
I love to scare my little brother Randy. I tell him scary stories about monsters until he just begs me to stop. And I'm always teasing him by pretending to see monsters everywhere. I guess that's why no one believed me the day I saw a real monster.
We don't believe you because you call them monsters, and that's not their preferred name, alright? This book should be called The Girl Who Cried Cryptids.
Randy, haven't you ever heard of the razor-toothed toe biter?
What do you mean, toe biter?
Randy, you have some Digimon, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! Can't hardly wait, not another teen movie-ass hairstyle on you, kid.
Ah! Oh! Get away!
And that was The Girl Who Cried Monster. She cried monster, and she's a girl. R.I.P. Randy, who probably died when a hawk mistook his hair for a nest and just, dug its talons right into that kid's skull.
Lucy, would you please stop scaring your little brother?
Oh, Mom, it was just a joke.
How did all your toes grow back?
Haven't I asked you not to tell him monster stories?
Actually, the toe biter gave me back my toes because I promised to cut yours off and give them to him tonight.
No!
Lucy?
What's the point of having a little brother if you can't torture him?
Well, there's no point in him because he was an actually planned child, and actually we planned to have him.
Well, what did you think?
Oh, he's definitely the monster. I know him. That's Colin Robinson. I have to admit, I'm disappointed. The book description and the cover promised a much more DeVito-ish guy.
Hey, Lucy, what are you getting? Frankenstein. Cool.
And that's the scene, I guess.
Wouldn't it be cool if there were real monsters?
Well, I'm not so sure, Aaron. Most people like to be frightened in movies or stories. Not in real life.
Sometimes.
Aaron, you ever notice anything weird about Mortman? Like his creepy, beady little eyes.
And his sweaty little hands.
When he gave me my book, it was so slimy I almost dropped it.
Yeah? Ugh.
Okay, that alone is monstrous enough. He doesn't even have to be a genuine monster anymore. Dude has slimy, sweaty palms. That's enough to put the fear of God in anyone.
Oh, my blades. I forgot them at the library.
Oh, man, I gotta get home.
Well, you have your blades right there. Oh, no, not these. My roller blades. You call your roller blades blades? Yeah. Listen, I gotta get home.
It's time, my plump little beauties. My little friends. I do believe we put on a little weight.
What the fuck?
It's dinner time, my furry friend.
This is bullshit. In the book, he had pet turtles. Nobody told me there'd be spiders in this episode.
Some crunchy crickets, my little friends.
Okay, so in the book, they describe the monster as having a giant mouth, giant inflated head, and eyes that stick out like a slug. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen that Disney Channel original movie Can of Worms, but this is what I imagined when I was reading the book. It's oddly terrifying in a goofy, kid-friendly way, I guess. But, like, even now, as an adult, if I saw that in the dark coming towards me, I'd scream and shit and piss. So this is what I expect to see. Goofy, but still creepy. How was I both right and wrong at the same time?
Mom! Dad! A monster! Huh? Where? At the library!
Don't you say hi anymore?
Hi, Dad! There's a monster at the library!
Lucy, please.
I can't explain it, but these parents look like they'd be friends with the parents from Rugrats.
This is no joke!
Larry, you're making them too big.
I happen to like big meatballs.
Doesn't anyone here believe me?
Alright, the way y'all looked at each other after he said that, keep that shit in the bedroom, guys. Not in front of the kids. You guys are the real monsters here.
His eyes popped out of his head, and he was eating bugs. And everyone here thinks I'm making it up.
Yeah, so do you want pepperoni on that, or...?
Didn't you think that the monster was the most sympathetic character in this story?
Do you believe in monsters?
Perhaps we all have a little monster in us, Lucy.
What does your little monster look like? Oh, God, no, please. Oh, his hands are wetter than I thought. Some monsters are unimaginable horrors beyond human comprehension. And some monsters are just slugheads with the body of a schlubby librarian.
Lucy! Keep running, little one. I love fast food.
And stop. That line right there changes everything. In the book, everything happens almost word for word exactly like it happens in this episode, except for that line, which turns this man into a willfully malicious monster. Whereas in the book, it can be interpreted completely differently. So far, what is this monster's crime? All he's been doing is eating bugs and spiders, and in the book, turtles, which is fine. Those are delicacies in some parts of the world, nothing wrong there. Maybe he's a bit intense, but there's nothing outright evil about his behavior. So for all intents and purposes, Your Honor, this monster is a good man, a friendly librarian, a beloved neighbor who has done no wrong, who is being judged by his appearance, and who is now being stalked and photographed without his consent by this child. Until that fast food line, which fucks up my whole case. I didn't expect this rant to go on so long, but I'm like, hashtag Team Monster on this, alright? Mr. Mortman did nothing wrong. Who's with me? I live alone. Tell me in the comments, because there's nobody here to agree with me.
Good evening, Lucy. May I come in for a minute?
No. My parents aren't home right now. I mean, they'll be home any minute. I mean, they're in the bathroom. Mom, is Dad still cleaning his rifle?
Dad, are you done cleaning your rifle?
Yeah, hon, there's just something stuck in the barrel. I'm trying to get a good look at what it... Wow, that was close.
I look forward to our next little chat.
Alright, dude, relax. This is a child, not a Batman interrogation scene.
You're quite the photographer.
Mr. Mortman, what are you doing here?
Have you been thinking about monsters again?
Mr. Mordman.
Thanks very much for bringing home Lucy's backpack today.
Also, thanks for filling you with bugs and spiders, you asshole. We're gonna bill you for the exterminator.
Remember your best behavior.
This is very kind of you.
Oh, it's nothing. Our pleasure, really.
Also, can you turn on more lights? I can't see shit.
Lucy, offer Mr. Mortman a meatball.
Delicious.
Needs more thorax, but you know, that's just my culture.
What's for dinner?
Well, it was going to be a surprise, but...
Since you asked, you are.
Excuse me, I thought you said that.
That's right. You are.
Oh shit, they're Nosferatus! Oh, they're snake people. Who have two mouths, apparently. How the hell did this and that come from the same episode?
That was a close call.
So to recap, this librarian, who has done nothing wrong in the book, mind you, he's living his life, being kind to the kids in the library, eating exotic cuisines in his off time, spends his last days being stalked and harassed by this child. And then, he's invited to a dinner. He even gets dressed all nicely. In the book, he even brings them flowers. And what happens next, Your Honor? What happens next? He is murdered and eaten alive by people? No. By monsters. An innocent, kindly monster, the victim of monster on monster violence.
Now listen, both of you. You can never, ever let anyone know that we are monsters.
We know that.
And we can't have any other monsters in town either.
And do you know why?
Because they might tell other people about us.
And they'd be frightened. And they'd chase us away.
And they kill each other to appease us humans so we don't turn on them? This goes all the way to the top, Your Honor. This is systematic oppression, clear as day. Mr. Mortman died just so these monsters can continue to live. Just so they don't die by our hands. What does that say about society, Your Honor? I rest my case.
Mr. Mortman's the first monster to come around in 20 years.
Besides us, of course.
That's why it took us so long to believe you, Lucy.
And when you two get bigger, you're gonna get your training fangs.
Yeah, the training fangs age is, it's rough. You're gonna bite your tongue a lot and forget about making out. That's just, I mean, I'm only with your mother because she's like me, but I tried dating human women and just, they are not into toothy guys.
Hey, what's up?
Just finished dinner.
Oh, man. Talk about timing. Well, what's for dessert?
Well, it was going to be a surprise, but since you asked...
You like cherry pie?
Sure.
What's so funny? Did I miss something? What's that big red puddle on the floor? Is that from the pie? Because if so, I'll pass.
Pardon me.
And that was The Girl Who Cried Monster. And it delivered on the monster and the girl and the who cried. And honestly, hashtag Mortman did nothing wrong. Mortman did nothing wrong. And all in all, it's a quintessential Goosebumps tale that shows the series' strengths, and it's a book, I think, that all of us remember reading as a kid just because of that striking book cover. Next time, we'll be taking a look at Welcome the Camp Nightmare. which I am pretty sure was the working title for Freddy vs. Jason. See you then, fellow monsters. I mean humans. I'm not a monster. Certainly not a bald Chinian from Men in Black 2. See you then.